Yeah, just screw it in, be shorter. No?
That's maybe what we need to come up with is a Shauna seat version and an Amanda arm version.
Right? Because I'm looking at everybody crush the bike and they're like,
yeah.
And I'm like,
yeah, we'll call the product the Shamandas.
yes.
Shamandas. Did you bring your Shamanda along with your knee straps and wrist straps? Oh, I got my Shamanda. It's going to be a curry color. So sit on that. Yeah, no, sit on that. Whee!
Got it.
And then try to straighten your leg out. Okay, you can't. So put the seat down as far as you get off and put the seat down as far as you can. Or what your height is, Amanda, that you choose. Just so I can also get a side view as to what that profile should look like. So put your heel on the pedal that's closest to me, and then put it to the bottom. Put the pedal to the bottom, right, directly to the bottom. There you go. So that crank is perpendicular to the floor. You see that? Put that all the way down. There you go. Now, do you feel like your pelvis is tilted a little bit in order to get that?
Yes.
Can the seat go down any further?
No.
Okay, well that's the lowest seat position you can do.
Yes.
And now put the, so ultimately, for viewers listening, you have to have a stable pelvis, flat pelvis, with your heel on the bottom part. No, with your heel on the bottom part, flat pelvis. You can work the seat as much as you want, like Amanda just did. It's called working the seat. And that's not going to get you that distance, because look at the pedal. Put the pedal all the way to the ground. Yeah, so her bottom seat is not even going to be able to fulfill her obligations for power output. So let's just work with that. Put the balls of your feet on both pedals, and then bring both handles together so they're together with one another. And so based upon your body position now, we want a tiny lean forward. So the way that you're positioned, based on you hanging on to them now, you're straight up and down. So I'm going to get you to get off and move the seat back a little bit if you can. So we can look at good starting position. Yeah, let's try that. And based upon your height of your leg too, that's probably even worse for us now. But so now put the handles together. So you honestly could move it back a little bit more. Let's move it back a little bit more if you can.
I don't think it does.
Oh, well, there you go. You're set up perfectly for the assault bike. Let's just say it did go back a little bit more. Let's pretend.
It could.
Oh, yeah, a half inch. Okay.
My house is closer.
Okay. Okay. That is a good point.
Okay. Yeah, so I did figure that out.
So let's just put the handles together. Now at that position there, though, with your arms slightly bent, you should have a slight forward lean. So just pretend, so that's where you should basically be when you start it. So let's just do like 20-second revolutions, nice and easy. And relax, that's good. So if you continue to do that, it'll make sense that if we had to do it, a lot harder, for multiple repetitions and increase power output, or you're trying to increase power output, you can imagine all the energy you're going to waste just based upon the setup for you, right? You just think about that. But it's important for you to recognize that, as well as other people who don't fit into it correctly, how much energy they're wasting when they do it. So every stroke that you push down, in order to push down and pull back, you've got to rotate slightly side to side through your pelvis and through your spine in order to make that happen. You're just losing energy. And then of course, because you can't move as far back relative to the height of your legs to make the handles perfect, you're also losing energy by that in terms of not being able to reach and push and pull. So you just do what you can. I'm going to ask you to do a couple of different gears for me, just so we can hear the differences in the gears. So just do like our atypical, what we call MAP 10 gear. So if you're doing like 60 minutes around the world stuff at an easy pace, let's just look and see what that pace looks like 20 to 30 seconds or so. relax. So the idea behind choosing that pace, so just so people can understand too, when we choose that pace of being an easy pace, that kind of pace, what could you honestly think you could maintain that pace for? How long do you think you can maintain that? Serious question.
Hours.
Right, so that's the whole idea of that pace. If you do MAP 10 or that easy recovery stuff, it should be able to last 3 to 5 hours as in an idea, like a context of an idea. So now show me a difference in pace that's only going to last you for about 40 minutes or so. The difference in pace and intervals, that'd be a 40-minute race pace scenario. Oh, a little thinking going on there. Good. And so do you remember the wattage and the RPM of the first pace relative to that one did you just look at?
I didn't see the wattage.
Okay, so RPM for the...
It was about like 38.
For the MAP 10, yeah?
Yeah, like 38, that I could do all day. That one was 50, 53.
Okay, that's like a MAP 6, MAP 7 in terms of our...
Yes.
Our coaching process based upon it. And that RPM difference was what? How many RPM differences was it?
Like 10 to 12.
Okay, so envision now, I know this can be fast tracked for you to try to speed that up, but a 90-second interval, which is going to be like a 5-minute race pace scenario. Let's hear the difference in that and what it's going to sound like, as if you can only maintain this for 5 minutes at the best maintainable pace. Okay, relax. After you catch your breath now, you're so aerobic. It's only going to take you 10 seconds. Give me the differences in the first, the second, and the third RPMs on average you're averaging there.
So the first one was about 38, the second one was about like 50, 52, that one was about like 60, 62.
Okay, good. Do you think you got enough in you to do about a 10 to 20 second interval that's fairly hard for like a 1 minute race pace scenario?
1 minute pace, but only going for...
Yeah, you can only last just over a minute.
Okay.
But you're gonna go, well, I'm gonna put you to 10 seconds to make it go a little longer, but think about that. Just so you can see the difference in that, and watch the RPM carefully for peak wattage and RPM peak as well, okay? Whenever you're ready. Harder. Relax.
Well, for peak for that was 83.
Yeah, what was...
But as far as holding that for a minute...
What was the difference in the... You can drop that, Shauna. What was the difference in when I said, you know, you're maintaining a pace and I said go harder? What was the difference in RPM there?
About 10 RPM.
Okay.
Yeah, I was in 70, and then when you said go hard, I went to 80.
Okay.
Well, me personally, I can hold like 69 to 72 for over, you know, a little bit over 72
Yep.
for a minute. That's
Yeah.
fine. Holding 83 for a minute,
Yeah.
maybe.
But it's possible. That's what I wanted to prove the point of that easy aerobic pace to getting faster, to getting close to your maximum. The RPM is exponentially higher the closer we get to that maximum. Because remember, you can't last more than a minute, right? So probably for training 1 minute intervals at a faster pace could be just below 70 or 70-ish, but I would argue close to 80 you could be at for... The whole idea of it is just to recognize that for really short, fast intervals, and then slower intervals that are going to get into aerobic potential or power endurance, and then even slower, and then really super slow stuff, to see the variance in RPMs basically. And then secondly, how to set up. Number one, just to review that, put the heel down onto the pad, or proposed setup position. So you should have a stable pelvis. That means, you know, from behind it should look like you're not tipping from one side to the other. Right? Yeah, like that if you're on a seat pretty much. And then put the hands together in this position with slightly bent arms, you should have a slight forward lean. Yeah, and then building out workouts from there is easy because you have good positioning and you also have a concept of gears. That's the whole process. Now ride.